Hello everyone and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick and this is my daily ramble. As always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe because we're fast approaching 8k. You know, the last month or two have been amazing for subs. You know, we're growing at quite a rate, so please do. It's free to subscribe. You know, just click on the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell as well because that will tell you when we're online. And as always, please drop a like on the video because it does really help us. Right, what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to give you an update on Yuri Alberto. As we know, Tim is over in Brazil at the moment, chasing that deal down, and some other deals as well, ins and outs. And then I'm going to touch on, for the last time, just a quick update on particularly sort of saying thank you to everyone for your support this weekend, and just last words on the crap that happened this weekend. All right then. Okay, so Yuri Alberto. Now, look, we probably all feel like we know this player now because there's been so many videos made, so many updates, and we know that this guy is pretty much in the Antonio mould. He's young, 20. I think he's 22. Plays for Corinthians, and he's a very, very strong, quick player. Not rapid, but quick. He's a good finisher as well. But he's industrious. He's a team player. He can do what Antonio does. He does not stop running, and he's very talented. Well, to say he's going to be an upgrade on Antonio, we can't say that yet because look, Antonio's probably up there with the most informed strikers at the moment. So when Antonio is in this mood, he's outstanding. So whether or not Antonio's going to stay or not, we'll go on to talk about that in a bit. I hope so, but we don't know. But Yuri Alberto. So Tim flew out there a few days ago. Listen, he wouldn't have flown out there unless there was a good chance that we thought that we was going to get a deal done. Negotiations have apparently proved more difficult than we thought, and it's been going back and forth, but we've arrived at the stage now where we've agreed personal terms with the player. I can never understand how we can agree personal terms with a player before we've agreed everything else on the club side, but apparently that is the case. We're exploring loan deals and permanent deals as well. We want the player. Basically, we want the player. So I think we would prefer a loan with an option to buy off the back of the fact purely because strikers tend to foul for us, or they have done just recently, haven't they? So we would prefer that, but I don't think if Corinthians stand their ground and they want a permanent deal, I think that we will push on with that. We will do, which is good, The thoughts are coming from the club, as updated by a couple of sources now, official sources. Also, you know, X has said we expect the deal to get done. There are still some obstacles in the way, but we expect this one to get done. That will take us up to a squad size of 25. It's 26 with Mabama, but he doesn't count as part of the squad because he's homegrown and the age bracket and everything else. So, but we do need to ship out some more players because the maximum squad size that we can actually have is 25. And there's also some other considerations around homegrown players and everything else. We appear to be looking for a left back. I've not heard anything more about right backs, which is a bit of a shame. Or not, because we do have Tilo Kera that we keep forgetting about. And we also have Mavropanos, who's played a fair bit out on the right-hand side as well. So we probably have got ample cover out there. But a left back is on the agenda. Players that we're likely to ship out, in my opinion, to make space are probably going to be Cresswell. So Wolves are on the verge of selling Nunes to Man City. So once they've done that, they're going to have the funds with which to see that deal through. So that'll be good. It'll be a shame. Listen, I love Cresswell, but he's not going to play, is he? And he wants to move. So let's let him go. You know, it's a quick fix to a problem that we've got. We need to reduce the squad size. He wants to go. Let him go. He's not an important first team player now, so that's perfect for us. There's rumours Saudi have come in for Pablo Fornals as well. But from what I've been told, the club are willing to listen to offers, which bothers me. We're obviously willing to listen to offers because we've had Sevilla, we've had all sorts of clubs, Pellegrini's side, Betis. We've obviously been touting him around, or his agent has been sort of looking for moves because there's been so many rumours this summer. But from what I've been told, Fornals isn't overly interested in a move in taking his family to Saudi, which I completely respect. And I think us knowing Fornals, that sounds about right. I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think he goes for money. I think he wants to play football. I hope he stays, but he might be one that goes. I don't know. The other one is Antonio, as we know. His stock has risen massively, both for us and for him. So if he moves now, we would be commanding a hell of a transfer fee, even at his age at the moment, because he looks the same as he did 3 or 4 years ago, even better at the moment. And on personal terms as well, it's a far more expensive deal. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. We know that David Moyes will do anything to keep him. And from what we've seen from the first 2 games, you can understand why. You can understand why. To have him and Yuri Alberto would be perfect because they're similar players. So it would be nice to have a like-for-like player. You know, take Antonio off when he needs resting, or if he's injured, and you've got someone that can just slot in. You haven't got to change anything. That's kind of what we need. So I think that would be amazing. I think if we had those forward options, that would be superb. We do know that players that we are almost advertised, if you like, it's well known out in the marketplace that they are available, is Danny Ings and Maxwell Cornet. They are both available. So yeah, and they're 2 players that you probably could accept us moving on. Let's face it. They certainly are. I think they're 2 players that we would expect. I mean, Maxwell Cornet definitely isn't in favour at West Ham. Danny Ings doesn't suit the system. So I think potentially for me, if I could pick 3 players to move on, it would be Maxwell Cornet. It would be Cresswell. That would free up 2 spaces. We could probably stop then because we're only looking at bringing Alberto in. And then if there's 2 more coming after that, then we've only got... Yeah. But worst way, Danny Ings. Danny Ings. If we get Yuri Alberto in, we've already got Mabama. We don't need Danny Ings, unfortunately. Hopefully he finds another club and he can go on and do what he does elsewhere. I've got nothing against him. He just doesn't suit our style. There's rumours about, as Gary touched on, Zuma and Benny going to Saudi as well. I don't think that's going to happen. From what I've been told, I don't think we're going to let them go, especially Zuma. Moyes ain't letting Zuma go. He loves him. And I think that'll be about it. We know we're looking at, is it Martson from Chelsea as a left-back? We know that we've got Lingard on the periphery as well. The only way that we would sign Lingard is if we just needed that homegrown player brought in, because I don't think that we need that player, you know. Mohamed Kudus, I watched a Ghanaian talk show. It was sent to me by Danny Martinez. And it was on Kudus. And one of the panellists was a guy called, I think they refer to him as Coach. Really good. I'll put a link to it in the description. Give it a watch. And he was involved in Kudus's development as a very, very young player. And they know all about him. They know a lot about West Ham. They know a lot about Premier League football. They know a lot about David Moyes. And they were talking about their thoughts on the Kudus move to West Ham. And they had concerns. Bear in mind, their only concern really is Ghana. You know, they want him to go to the best place possible to make him a better player so that he can do things for Ghana. They're not very happy that he's come to West Ham. They're happy he's in the Premier League, but not saying West Ham are a small club. They're saying it's a football style that they don't think will suit Kudus, and that Kudus may not fit with David Moyes because we play such a defensive game. They kind of profiled him. Now, bear in mind, these guys will know him better than most. They profiled him as a central attacking midfielder as being his primary position. And they said that basically Lucas Paqueta currently holds his position, his best position. They said he isn't a flying winger. They said he's not that. You know, apparently he hasn't got pace to burn, which kind of goes against what I saw on the videos that I've seen, and when I saw him live as well. Fair enough, he didn't really demonstrate too much pace in that last game where he scored the hat-trick. He didn't need to. But they said he's definitely a central player. They said he cannot replace Mikel Antonio in that centre-forward role. They said that no way, not in this system. And they said he can play wide, providing he's in a fluid system where you're getting bodies forward around him. Basically, he can't do that one-man team role. He can't do that. So they're not saying he's going to be a flop, but they said it potentially could be. They said Moyes could make him or break him. They kind of said it could be the case how they see it. If he comes in at the wrong time and we lose a few games, he'll get put on the bench, and David Moyes will never call on him again. That was their concerns. That was their concerns. And they said that he's only ever played in progressive teams that encourage him to express himself. And they said it's going to be very different now when they use Paquetá as an example. And they said that he's basically restricted. You can see he's told to focus on his defensive side of his game, and they said that's something that Kudus has never had before with a coach. He's always been backed to just go and attack, and do what he does. Even from a young age, they spoke about a development game where he lit everything up when he kind of made his name, and his coach did just literally allow him to just take the whole team on, and it was that they allowed him to do that, and kind of, because he's got this low centre of gravity, almost very sort of Hazard-like in the way that he dribbles the ball. You know, really close control, really exciting player. But I think we're going to have to wait and see ourselves. They've obviously just got concerns that their brightest talent at the moment could be stifled by West Ham. I hope that's not the case. They also went on to say that they don't think that David Moyes has signed the player. They said that whether or not they've got connections with the player or not, I don't know. They said they think it's the director of football signing. And, you know, he's just gone out, he wanted him, he signed him, and he's given him to David Moyes. We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I personally think he looks to me like a David Moyes type player in this system, because if we play counter-attack like we saw the other day against Brighton, he would be perfect for that. So we're just going to have to wait and see. All of these players that come in from overseas, especially attacking players, it's a risk. It's always a risk. So we're going to have to wait and see how he does develop. But I'm confident that he will. I'm confident that he'll do well. So look, that's it for the update today. Moving on to what I mentioned earlier on, sort of closing this up. First of all, I want to say a real sincere thank you to everyone that supported us this weekend. You know, it means a lot to us all, but particularly me. I've had a bit of a rough weekend, probably my wobbliest weekend in 2 years since I've been doing this. Like I say, I do have skin like a rhino. You know, I don't care what people say about me. But what got to me this weekend was the fact that my son picked up on it on Twitter, got upset, and that was a little bit too much for me. Really, you start questioning yourself, and you think, is this right? So that was a bit much. So well done to the bloke who kind of clipped that video and did what you did. You know, all you've ultimately done is upset a child, and you've upset me as well through virtue of the fact that you've upset him. It was unnecessary, really, because what people see on Twitter, I've been guilty of it as well. It's the same as when you get a segment of a quote, you kind of form an opinion off the back of it, and it was the same with that. You know, people will see a 10-second clip that didn't look good, and there's no context there. You know, the fact that I was 2 minutes behind the fucking stream and I knew the goal had gone in ages before I actually saw it happen. People don't care, you know, they react to that. So I haven't got the ump with the people that reacted to it. You know, I've done that before. That's absolutely fine. But as for, you know, the absolute dickhead that did that, who's basically a long-term troll of mine, I blocked him a year ago because he kind of targeted everything that I was tweeting. Just couldn't stand any opinion that I had, which is fine. I'll get that. But I blocked him because, apart from anything else, it's to stop irritating him. I didn't want to keep on having the same arguments. So you block someone, they can't see what you tweet anymore. Job done. But this kind of proved that he watches the content as well. You know, so the guy's like, it's like fucking stalk-like weird behaviour, really strange behaviour. So it's going to happen. You're going to when you do this, you put your face above the parapet. You do what we do. It's part and parcel. It is going to happen. I know that. But that was a bad experience. Like I said, I did have a wobble this weekend. So well done, mate. You know, I'll hold my hands up. I did. It weren't nice. Particularly what you did to in the fact that it upset me son. So yeah, I'm never going to change. I will say that if I ever get to the stage where I feel like I've got to censor my opinions or sit on the fence or something like that, I'll just stop doing YouTube altogether. But I can understand a little more now why people that, you know, a lot of channels get criticised for sitting on the fence. I kind of understand why now, because it's fucking brutal. You know, what people can do to you. They can take a 10-second clip out of thousands of hours that we do, and they can frame you and character assassinate you. That's what they can do. And people jump on board with it. For a 10-second clip. It's mad, isn't it? But I can understand it now. However, that will never be me. I will never do that. I think if it ever got to a stage where I couldn't tolerate abuse and stuff like that, I would just stop doing YouTube. I'll never change. I couldn't change if I wanted to. I couldn't. So nothing's going to stop us anyway. We're carrying on. We're doing good. Like I say, Our numbers are going up. We're going really well. We're approaching 8,000. So if you are a long-term viewer and you haven't yet subscribed, please do jump on board. And don't forget, as I said earlier on, please drop a like on the video. And thank you all so much for those comments that you put on those videos. You know, my video that I did, the humble pie video, but particularly Gary's video as well. There were some lovely comments of support in there, and it does. I can't tell you how much it means to us when we do this, especially at times like that. It means the world to us. So thank you very much. Every day's a school day, and I'll be back again soon. All right, come on your heads.